Hello everybody. As a promise, I'm gonna do this video. It is about Venus. Venus is going to a journey right now. Then it's gonna come back. The journey began a while back when Venus was in Libra, but she's gonna go into the 10 degrees of Scorpio, and then it's gonna go back to Libra again, and then it's gonna be moving again into Scorpio, and then it's gonna pass the point of it. This is going to be a period of coverage of Venus, almost 3 months. So this video is gonna be a little longer. If you want to take some notes, you can stop it. If you just want to watch the whole thing, you might about pause it, make yourself comfortable, get yourself maybe making a popcorn if you want to, or juice or coffee, whatever you want to, so you can hear it, because it's a very important part of what's going on right now. I mean, this right now, it's a divine timing. What I mean by divine timing, if you've been watching the previous videos when I announced that I'm gonna make this video, you know that I mentioned that Jupiter and Venus, they're both in Scorpio. This is the part of the underworld. This is the part of the things are suppressed. This is the darkness where the light has to go in and expose more darkness so we can evolve. This is why we calling the house of Scorpio, it's the house of the destructions. This is when you destroy the bad inside of you. This is why the people who are Scorpio, they can smell you, and when they smell you, you're done. That's it for them. Once they are done with you, they are done with you. Maybe they can give you a second chance if you're lucky. If you're not, that's what. It's a Scorpio way. They sting you and that's it. You're done. This is why this period right now that's going on into it, it's very important for internal self. What I mean that internal self is that what you're going to do about yourself, about you. Jupiter was already on retrograde in Scorpio. That was a very hard period because a lot of the people got isolated. They feel isolation. Scorpio, it's isolating itself. That is the part where the warrior goes inside of himself, and that is the inner self that goes down, hunker down, and looking at inside of himself what is going wrong. The best descriptions of that three-dimensional world, that's gonna be when the man goes to the cave and it says the woman, you know, don't bother me. The woman goes and bothers him, and he's like, you know what, screw you, don't, I told you, don't bother me. That's it. And this is why a lot of the people, specifically the women, they misunderstood in this part, that the man needs its part with an aggravation. So the other part is when the man comes out of the cave, you have to give him a time and space to adjust. And we're going to see how this is happening into the astrology way of it. The moon, as you know it, I do a lot of the moon astrology base. I do this over in the Facebook. I post daily just short notes of what's going on today. And you can go ahead, if you want, you can go out on the Facebook, you can look at it. I posted it to a few groups. That will be Namaste, that will be the Light Workers of the World, that will be I Am Twin Flame and I Am Twin Flame International. I posted them in there. However, they're also on my page on Facebook. But what it's mean, Venus, for you? Why you watching this video? This video, it's informative. This video, it's explaining to you what's going on. a lot of the people today, they feel the intense pressure. And the intense pressure was because of Venus is moving into Scorpio, but also the moon was lining up to slowly to that energy. But what is that about Venus? What are we talking about Venus? What's the most important part? Here, Venus retrograde, the past returns. This is the time, specifically when it comes into a Scorpio, to do the review of how bad did you act, how bad you react in the past. So the past, it's revealed back itself into it. If you knew the diagram that I was talking about for Mercury retrograde or for Jupiter retrograde, that S type, Zavet, that is the type when you gonna be going forward to go back, to revise the past, to be told what you need to do in the past, and then you going to go back again forward. But this time you're gonna be learning things. This time you're gonna be knowing things. This time you're not gonna act the way you act in the past. This time you're gonna be renewed. This time is gonna be different. And we're going to tracking Venus for a period of 3 months. This is gonna be not a one-day thing, and you read the chart and there you go, bye bye, have a great one. This is gonna be a completely different story. So, what's today? This is how we are. Right now we are having the Venus is in Scorpio, was just already entering. Right now the moon is igniting Venus. That's what was that highly pressured today. If you felt it around noon, that was the time when the moon moved from Libra and focused the energy into Venus, and now it's ignited that part of Venus. Venus in Scorpio has a very slow and very low positions out of love. Usually the people who are born or who have a Venus into Scorpio, those are the people who didn't have enough love in their life. They usually don't have that part of the physical love. The person they love probably is going to reject them because they're not looking, they don't understand the love that everybody else's have. The people with Venus and Scorpio, they have a different sacred love. It's gotta have, it's attached with a different sexuality. We're talking about that this is the part where the Venus goes into the darkness to shine a light. And people who have a Venus in a Scorpio, they are very mystic. That's the part of the house that it's hard to explain, but this will be basically presented. If you picture it as a movie character, that will be a Harry Potter. Harry Potter, if you look at it, he didn't grow up with the love that he needed. He was always suppressed. There was something always going on into it. Never was giving the love, the proper love, the way it was. But he did the great thing inside of the darkness. He did the great stuff fighting the darkness. And he had to have the part of the darkness inside of him. And this is why Venus in Scorpio, that's what that does. That's what we are gonna go to. A lot of the people will feel right now when the Venus is in Scorpio that it's gonna be feel isolated. It's gonna be feel like they have to study something, they have to done something, they have to do something, they have to purge something, they have to review something. Usually that's something, it's the past. And now the moon, especially today, ignited that part. It's just like a match. It's like, there we go, flare up. And that was the intense energy. Some of the people, when the moon was shifting from Libra to Scorpio, they didn't slept. that was so much intense energy, because right now the ignition period it's begin, it's starting it. And here is Jupiter. Jupiter, as I said, it's a inside also for Scorpio. So the both two good planets now, they trying to put more light into the darkness. They try to clear up more of the wounds that have been done. They try to get the things you need to be get into in yourself, so you can have a better life. So very thing to pay attention to it right now, it's that this triangle, it's red triangle. Actually, this is what it's called the T-square. It creates a 90 degrees angles between the planets, and this is gonna be against Venus, Uranus, and Mars. Venus will facing the universe. Venus will be aggravated at God. Venus is gonna be aggravated to the universe. Universe is gonna send back. It's gonna be like, you know what? I know that everything is love, but your understanding about love is completely wrong. You have to go back. You have to revisit your thing. You have to set things right, and we're gonna teach you. We're gonna put you in the situations that you're going to learn, and we're gonna force you. We're gonna show you. There's gonna be some visions that you're going to do. And for right now, if you want to deal with me, you have to go through Saturn. You have to go, you look at the secret stuff inside of you that you don't show up nobody else. Saturn is in a very specific spot at 2 degrees and 35 minutes. Personally, for me, that is a hard moment, because my North Node, it's right there, right exactly there. And right now, my Venus is in 27 degrees of Scorpio. So you can imagine what is going on in DO. Keep in mind at this part. At some point, Venus and Mars right now, they are not really talking to each other. That means that you don't really have good communications with inside of yourself, but also you probably don't have a good communications between your wife and husband, or your partnership, whatever the situation is right now. And it's not right, it's not good into it. There is a lot of communications to be done, simply because the warrior right now, it's rebel. He wants to get going, he wants to get moving, and he doesn't worry about Venus if he comes in or not, because Venus right now needs to learn its own lesson. It needs to learn to appreciate the masculine, and that's what that lesson will be. So in September 19th, we are going to have Venus moved up. But what's going to happen, I guess, the way that Venus was ignited today, we are going to have an ignition state of Mars. And that ignition state of Mars is going to be very, very, very heavy. That T pressure, T square that I was talking about, is going to be ignited. It's going to be very powerful. Be mindful how you're talking on September 19th. The Sun and Mercury, they're going to be together, and Virgo. There's going to be a lot of good healing talk. Tries to push into it. If you listen to that healing talk, that's going to be great. But if not, you got to be very careful. Saturn will limitate right away the things inside of you. Saturn is going to be helping this part, like, you can't do this. You're going against yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. There's going to be aggravations. And you're going to be shutting down into. So that T squares continue to goes on, even though that Venus moves up a little bit. But the most important part is when the moon comes in, it's going to ignite Mars. It's going to say, Mars, it's time for you to move on. This is going to be the part when you're going to realize inside of you, you're going to look at the masculine energies inside of you, that I need to change. I have to do changes. The way I go, the way I know things, the way the things are going in life, something is wrong, something is not right, but I need to go ahead. I need to find the time. This is going to be the great time for yourself, for yourself, if you go ahead and get yourself into a position of decide to look deep inside of yourself and be honest to yourself. That is the part of the age of Aquarius, that you're gonna be looking at internal part, and whatever it's bad, you're gonna be demolishing it by using the Venus and Jupiter energy inside of the Scorpio. The bad part, that you are bad towards people, the bad part, the way you act, react, but also the bad part to yourself. What I mean by to yourself is when you felt like you have to say the truth, you say the lie, or when you had to say something but that was going against yourself, you suppress your own self and you say or you did totally different things. Those are the stuff that are inside of you that you're going to review from the past. Because in the past, if you had a situation that you were supposed to act in a completely different way, but you act against yourself, now this is the time when you review it and it's gonna be, you know what, I have to fix it. This is why that part of Venus is going on right now. So Venus is gonna move on September 27th. Venus is gonna, the moon is gonna be go ahead and ignite Jupiter. When it ignites Jupiter, is gonna actually empower, not Jupiter, I'm sorry, the moon is gonna join Uranus and is gonna be ignite this opposition with Venus and also the squaring with Mars. On this position, it's gonna show you the point of view of the universe. How the things are from God perspective. What would a God do if he saw you lying? What was a God will do if he wants to correct you? What is God will do if he wants you to be the best for yourself? What is God wants you to do with you to be honest? And this is going to be internal work inside of the feminine part. This part of your self-evolution, self-realizations that you will be going into. To remind you, this is happening in Taurus. Uranus is retrograde. So Uranus is going to be going back into Aries. This is going to be the part when the universe is going to be, listen, I'm trying to give you the best in life. I'm going to give you a second chance. I'm going to give you the right things, you to work with me. Otherwise, when I move back into Taurus, I'm going to shift to realizations in the material world. I'm not going to go back and focus on you anymore. I have things to do. And this is why this part right now, it's very important and crucial of this divine time to do it. This is a process we're talking about. It's going to be taking some periods of time. You cannot change yourself just for 1 minute. So as we go on to on October 4th, the moon, it's going to be crossing the path. It's going to opposing Mars and it's going to be T-squaring Jupiter and Venus. This period right there, that date on October 4th, be careful how you act and how you react in yourself. Your ego is going to be empowered. The moon is going to ignite that power of the ego, of Leo. It's about me. I'm the king, I'm the queen, I'm in control. Screw Uranus. I don't care about God. I'm not worried about warriors. I can have a New York warriors. I can find another warriors. And you know what? I may be not that much worried about it. I know I screw up. Nobody knows about it. I can screw up again. That was going to be this part when the universe is going to be really, really sad. You need to calm down. You need to chill out. If you focus on yourself and that ego part, you're going to have hard times. But if you look at it here, if you look at it, the sun and the moon, they're gonna be coming together. If you calm down and you find yourself, inner self in there, you're gonna find that peace. And all that part, all that tensions, hidden intentions, is not going to affect you. But you need to find how to maintain your balance during this day. It's very crucial because some of the people, they are going to be very, very, very angry. Some of the people, they want to be their own way. And this is crucial for you. As we continue on it, just the one day after, we're talking about one day after, on October 5th, our Venus is going to be stopping at 10 degrees of Scorpio, and it's going to be turning a retrograde. That's going to be the day that after all this part on the 4th that happens, some of you is going to go through this bad part of revelations. And those bad part of revelations will help you of turning back, look back, what happened, what's going on, what's the situations, what I did wrong, what I need to work on it, what I need to confess to myself. See, the job that you're going to work on it, it's about you, in yourself. And don't worry about what the others do. This is about inner self on you, for you. And when Venus is going to be turning a retrograde, the energy is going to shift from the ego, from the physical part, into the soul. You're probably going to feel the desire to go ahead and isolate yourself from others. To remind you, if you have to do that, do it. If you want to go to what's called the exile, you can go ahead and do the exile of that, what your soul wants it. The exile basically is the part where you cut connection with everybody, no exceptions. And maybe direct relatives, we're talking about kids, or if you have a spouse, but that's it. The rest of the world, you have to zip it, and you have to find this time for yourself. Maybe take a vacation or something, or take a time to it. This is the time when you feel like what the dead person does. When someone dies, they review everything, what is done, what had got done, what happened to it, what was the wrong, what it needs to be improved, what could have been done differently, what the damage was done. That's going to be turned on at that day for you. And some of you is going to feel that part as of inside. To remind you that as you look at it up here, that Venus squaring Mars and the universe is, and Uranus is still active. So this is gonna be going on for a while. It's already been, this is we're talking about, it's October 5th, so pretty much 1 month from now, that's gonna be continue going. And on October 10th, that's gonna be a pretty good, because Mars is gonna be moving ahead and Uranus is gonna be going back towards Taurus. So that squaring here, it's not gonna be gone. Now the universe says, dear masculine, it's your time, move ahead. There is gonna be no restriction. I'm not opposing your actions. It's time for you to evolve. It's time for you to go in. Now you need to pay attention. Those are the 10 degrees where the Venus is. And now after the Venus has been retrograde, the moon, as you beginning into it, the moon, when it ignited Venus, is gonna be reignited Venus now while she's retrograde. And during this period we have that opposition, but the difference is here is that Venus right now it's retrograde. Now the energy will be focused within the soul. The energy is gonna be in there, and during this part, this perfect square between the masculine and the feminine energy, you're gonna feel a lot of internal fights inside of you. The one is gonna be, I need to be improve myself, I need to work on myself, and the other one is gonna be, I want to kill myself, the one that I don't need to. The parts that I don't need to anymore in my life, I need to remove them. I need to destroy them. So there's gonna be some two heavy processes happening at the same time for your own good. So to keep on going, on October 15th, Mercury is gonna comes in, and it's gonna be the time when a Venus will look at it for someone to talk. That's gonna be the part when a Venus is gonna be realizing that something happened and it's time to talk. It's time to make a communications. It's time to remove the tensions. It's time to get the right things straight. This is going to be the moment that probably some of you is going to reach out to your good friends. Some of you is going to reach out to your people. Some of you is going to reach out maybe to a church or spiritual leaders or someone at work. And it's a pretty good time for a confession. You to go ahead and say, what was wrong with you? What is that all about? The good part is if you confess into yourself, you to be honest to yourself first. That confession, that part is, I'm bad on this. Yes. Look at yourself in the mirror. See yourself and see how bad you are. How the things are need to be going on into. So during that process, you will see that right here we'll still have this opposition with Uranus, we'll still have this squaring with Mars, but right now Venus moving this way, Mars is moving that way, and during that part right now, when the moon comes in here, the moon is going to give ignition now into Mars. And the Mars is going to say, you know what? It's time for me to move. It's time for me to get that job done. I have to get on fire. I have to get this part for myself. So during this period, we are going to be in a pre-shadow period of Mercury retrograde. As you look at it, Uranus is going to be coming up very close. It's going to go back into Aries. The Sun, it's going to be at the end of the Libra. That is on October 20th. But there is something happened between the 18th and the 20th. Right now, Mars, after it's been ignited by the Moon, Mars right now will be feeling free. Mars is going to be squaring Mercury, but it's not going to be squaring anymore the Moon. Mars is going to say, you know what? I letting you go, you to do your inner work. You don't need me. I have to move on. I have to go forward. You do your evaluation process. You did something wrong in your life. Go ahead and do it. And that is the between the part when you realize that when you're too strong, maybe you should have been too soft. Or backwards, when you were too soft, you to understand you had to be strong. That is the part of self-internal realization, is what you did, how you did it, and what you can do to fix it. So Wednesday on October 24th, that's gonna be a part when the sun, it's already moving into Scorpio, but this time the moon is igniting again the retrograde Uranus, and we're gonna have this opposition on the 24th. Be careful what you do, because that part is, if you're trying actions to do that coming out from aggravations, the universe gonna be like no. This is the part when the masculine and the feminine, which is the king and the queen, facing each other, and this is the time when the love facing the universe, and it's gonna be hard on some of the people to go through this stage, this inner fight, because the inner fight inside of them can evolve into the inner fight with others. And that is gonna be a crucial day right here about what you do. The good part is you will look at it, Saturn, and through a Saturn, through the secret, internal parts of the secrets inside of you, you can have this connections. But what are those secrets are? This is the part when you don't keep your secrets, you expose them. You go ahead and tell everything. And when you say everything, you have nothing to worry about it. Because the truth is truth. So on 31st of October, happy Halloween, right? Guess what happens? Venus is at 0 degrees of Scorpio. Uranus is at 0 degrees of Taurus. They're both moving that way, and that perfect oppositions right here will challenge it. Another 0 degree, that was gonna be a Mercury. Mercury is gonna be there, and it's gonna be like challenging you all over the place. And of course Mars is still squaring it to Mercury and squaring Jupiter, and there's gonna be challenges for you. Challenges of what the warrior wants to do, and looking at how he to eliminate the things that prevents him to be a great warrior. The warrior is gonna be looking, some of the people who are with too much ego inside of it, they may be taking a physical actions, which is not gonna lead to anything good. Not anything good. So November 1st, which is one day after, we are having a Venus, it's crossing, go back into Libra. As you see it right now, when I'm crossing back, we're talking about one day here. She go back and reconnects with the masculine. And the masculine, if you take a look through the moon's gonna opposing, and that T-square here is gonna create a lot of tensions. That's gonna be a test for Venus and Mars. Do you guys learn your lesson? How far you guys are? Where you guys are inside of it? And as the time moves on, of course, the moon is gonna be go on. It's gonna be reigniting Mars, and right here, that energy right now with Mars, this is gonna be the best time. If you have your challenges with your partner, that's gonna be the time when to reconnect, to do the right things. Mars is going to be at 0 degrees in Pisces. That means that the warrior is going to be looking to his soul. He's not going to looking anymore with rebellious aggravations. And the universe is going to be supporting Mars. There's going to be no more those aggressive tensions as the beginning. They were red. Now they're blue. They're more free flow into it. And as you see it, this is a sextile right here, and that is a trine that will be done. The moon is going to be pushing that part. The moon is going to be reignite that part, so it will help Mars to have that very beautiful transition into Pisces. And November 16th, that's a very interesting day though. There's going to be two things happening that day. In the morning, when the moon push into Mars, and Mars is already in the Pisces, we have this very good combinations of energies. As I just mentioned right now, the moon is already in the Libra, and we have Mars. Mars is in a very good position looking through Saturn, and as you see it here, Mercury is in Sagittarius, and Mercury during the day is going to stay there, but he's going to stay there until 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, Mercury is turning as a retrograde, and during that period when it turns retrograde, that part of whatever the warrior wanted to talk, the warrior is going to feel sorry of the things that said before, and this is going to be very good moment of you as a masculine power, as warrior, you to go ahead and admit the wrong sayings. And as you look at here, Venus is going on 25 degrees of a Libra. She's traveling back into Libra, and there is no more tensions inside. And on the November 23rd, we are going to have this opposition still with Venus, and right now we are going to have this squaring with Pluto. That is the part that some of you is going to be realizing that your friends, they were not your really friends. They were only acting of their point of understanding, and you had to agree with your friends, with your surrounding. That's what Pluto is. Pluto represents the plutocration, your circle around you. Whoever is around you, that's what you become, and that's what Pluto does into. And you probably will be facing some of your friends. You will facing some of your partners, and you will realize that, you know what, it's not good for me, because I had to lie in order to do things. I had to suppress myself in order to do the things. I have to live my true self, and if I have to live my true self, I can't keep doing the same thing. So during this period of that transition, Venus is going to be moving forward, and when it moves forward, she's going to go back into a 0 degrees of Scorpio. We're going to be getting at this dense moving from Libra to Scorpio, Scorpio to Libra, and now again from Libra to Scorpio. The moon is going to come in, it's going to ignite again with that opposition. That's going to be on Sunday, on December 2nd. And as you see it here, the Venus right now, it has only one opposition. She hasn't solved the problem with God yet. She have not really removed the things that needed to be moved. She learned the things, but now it's the time to perform the things. This is gonna be the moment wherever you learned how to destroy, whatever you learn, what you need to do. You to do it. So Venus is gonna be moving again into a Scorpio. We are traveling, and as you see it, Venus turned retrograde at 10 degrees of Scorpio. Venus is gonna be come back to this 10 degrees, but this time she's gonna be at 10 degrees refresh, renewed. That's gonna be the new empowered Venus. That's gonna be a new person who's gonna live by the truth. It's gonna shine itself inside of its own darkness, and it's gonna light up the world. As you see it right now, there is no any more tensions with Uranus. That part with God particle is gonna be fixed. And as you look at it here, it doesn't have any more aggravations with Mars, but it has that beautiful emotions with Mars, because Venus is in Scorpio, it's in the water sign, and Mars is in Pisces, which is also a water sign. And the beauty of the whole thing is it's a journey of the soul, the journey to understand. And if you look at it here, Uranus right now is in Aries. Is a cardinal changes that's gonna become then a cardinal part that you gonna be working within your soul, so you can go ahead and move into the new year refresh. So it's very critical what you're doing right now. We're talking about right now it's September 12th, and this is gonna be a December 17th. We're talking about the period of October, November, and December. And as this is go on into, I will continue to do some my daily notes on the Facebook. It's up to you if you want to follow it. Just the keynotes here, it's that it's for you to review the past. Okay, the past is returning to you so you can improve yourself. If you've been doing something in the past and you're suppressing yourself, now you will be asking not to suppress yourself, but speak up about yourself. If you before you put yourself down because of lack of confidence, now you have to find and put that confidence up. If you go ahead and run away from something, now it's not time to you to run away. Now it's time you to face it, especially if that's a fears. This is how you're going to be evolved. This is why all this period of Venus retrograde happened into. To tell you that Venus and Jupiter, they're not going to be again in Scorpio within the next 12 years. So this is happening event that it's once in 12 years. It's a very, very good period of you to go ahead and improve yourself by looking at your bad parts inside of you, by looking at the bad things inside of you, realizing yourself, and you change, you improve yourself, you do the job for you. Don't be focused what other people do. The people will do what they're going to do with their own capabilities. You're gonna be focused on yourself. And if you feel isolated, if you feel like you need to be on your own, just go ahead and do it. It's good for you, for your own soul. If you need to take like a week vacation or a week place you to go somewhere, just go ahead and do it. It's gonna be big paid out for you down the road, down in the future. The most important is that this period is going to teach you to be living from now on as your real self. No more hiding, no more suppressing, no more parts. The whole part is you to learn to live the life as real you. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this video helps you out. I hope everything is going to be great for you, and looking forward for your comments. Be love.